In a world often overshadowed by turmoil and global power struggles, there's a global silent force steadily rising in Southeast Asia, as evidenced by rising investment, a growing consumer market, and improvements in infrastructure and technology. Welcome to the captivating story of ASEAN, the Association of Southeast Asian Nations. To understand ASEAN's strength, it is good to start with the present. With over 600 million people and an expansive landmass of 4.5 million square kilometers, this group of 10 nations is anything but ordinary. In 2022, ASEAN flexed its economic muscles, boasting a staggering $10.2 trillion in purchasing power parity GDP, an astonishing 6.5% of the world's GDP. But it's not just about the numbers. ASEAN's mission transcends economics. Their core objectives include accelerating economic growth, promoting social progress, nurturing cultural development, and most importantly, ensuring regional peace and stability through justice and adherence to the principles of the United Nations Charter. However, there's more to ASEAN than meets the eye. Beyond economic and social realms, they're working towards establishing a security regime reminiscent of the European Union. Their unique approach sets them apart. Decisions are only made when all member nations unanimously agree, emphasizing respect for each other's sovereignty. This extraordinary journey began in 1967 with Indonesia, Malaysia, Singapore, Thailand, and the Philippines. Over the years, it expanded to include Brunei, Vietnam, Laos, Myanmar, and Cambodia. And notably, in late 2022, Timor-Leste was poised to become the 11th member. What makes ASEAN genuinely remarkable is its diversity. These 10 nations, each with unique geography and culture, come together harmoniously. They share common values and cultures due to proximity and long-standing trade ties despite their varying geographical features. Underlying their achievements is a unique diplomatic engagement known as the ASEAN Way, which fosters economic growth and regional peace. Despite its relatively low profile, ASEAN stands out as the most successful multilateral organization in Asia thanks to its commitment to regional cooperation and diplomacy. As we journey through the silent rise of ASEAN, remember that in a world filled with noise, the most significant transformations often occur silently. First, let's talk about ASEAN as an economic giant. Now, if ASEAN were a single entity, it would proudly stand as the world's 7th largest economy with a combined GDP of $3.66 trillion in 2022. Projections indicate that it is on an upward trajectory, set to become the 4th largest economy by 2050. This remarkable growth is fueled by the expansion of the labor force and enhancements in productivity. With a population exceeding 600 million people, ASEAN surpasses both the European Union and North America in terms of sheer numbers. Notably, it boasts the world's 3rd largest labor force, trailing only China and India. The region's youthful population represents a demographic dividend. Impressively, near 60% of total growth since 1990 has originated from productivity gains across sectors like manufacturing, retail, telecommunications, and transportation. To harness this potential fully, ASEAN must prioritize the development of its human capital and workforce skills. Specifically, Indonesia and Myanmar are projected to face shortages of 9 million skilled and 13 million semi-skilled workers by 2030. ASEAN's solid macroeconomic foundations need to be discussed to highlight how ASEAN has quietly moved up the economic ladder. While memories of the 1997 Asian financial crisis may have left some with lingering perceptions of volatility in the region, ASEAN has since demonstrated remarkable resilience, particularly after the 2008 global financial crisis. Today, it stands on sturdy macroeconomic foundations with a strong fiscal position. Government debt in the region is comfortably below 50% of GDP, significantly lower than 90% in the United Kingdom or the 105% in the United States. Surprisingly, ASEAN has experienced lower economic growth volatility since 2000 than the European Union. Savings levels have also remained relatively stable, hovering at around 1/3 of GDP since 2005. Though there are significant differences between high-saving economies like Brunei, Malaysia, and Singapore, and low-saving economies like Cambodia, Laos, and the Philippines. ASEAN is also a thriving hub of consumer demand. As shown by that, ASEAN has consistently outperformed the global average in terms of GDP per capita growth since the late 1970s. This enduring trend has persisted into the 21st century with an impressive annual average real income increase of more than 5% since 2000. Notably, certain member nations have experienced astonishing growth rates. Take Vietnam, for instance, which managed to double its per capita GDP from a meager $1,300 to $2,600 in just 11 years between 1995 and 2006, highlighting the rapid economic development in the region. Furthermore, ASEAN has made significant strides in reducing extreme poverty. In 2000, a concerning 14% of the population lived below the international poverty line of $1.25 per day. But by 2013, this figure had plummeted to a mere 3%, underlining the successful poverty eradication efforts. But that's not all, folks. Urbanization has played a pivotal role in driving economic growth with ASEAN, as cities across the region have experienced substantial expansion. Currently, 22% of ASEAN's population resides in cities boasting over 200,000 inhabitants, contributing to more than half of the region's GDP. This urbanization trend is expected to continue with an estimated 54 million individuals projected to migrate to urban areas by 2025. What's intriguing is that mid-sized cities within the region have surpassed their larger counterparts in terms of economic growth. Nearly 40% of ASEAN's GDP growth through 2025 is anticipated to emanate from 142 cities with populations ranging from 200,000 to 5 million, illustrating the diversified and decentralized nature of economic prosperity in ASEAN's urban landscape. According to the latest ASEAN Macroeconomic Research Office report in July, the region's economy is set to grow by 4.6% by the end of 2023, up from 3.2% in 2022. This means that the economy is bouncing back to the levels we saw before the pandemic, although the pace of recovery may differ from one country to another. On another note, inflation in the region is expected to decrease in 2023, but the extent of this decrease will also vary from country to country. Interestingly, over the last decade, foreign investment in manufacturing in ASEAN has doubled, even surpassing China's numbers. This shows that the region is becoming increasingly attractive for investment in manufacturing. The future sure looks bright. Amidst its impressive economic growth and geopolitical significance, ASEAN remains steadfast in its commitment to the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, or SDGs. These 17 global goals, ranging from eradicating poverty to combating climate change, form a cornerstone of ASEAN's agenda. The region is actively striving to create a more equitable and sustainable future, embracing innovative approaches and partnerships. ASEAN's pledge to the SDGs manifests through various initiatives, including promoting gender equality, enhancing access to quality education, and tackling environmental challenges. The region recognizes that sustainability is not just a global obligation, but a driver of long-term prosperity and resilience. They also focus quite a bit on innovation and technology. In an era defined by rapid technological advancements, ASEAN is harnessing the potential of innovation to shape its future. As the world witnesses the fourth industrial revolution, ASEAN is actively positioning itself as a hub for innovation and digital transformation. Under the ASEAN Digital Integration Framework, member states are fostering collaboration in areas such as e-commerce, cybersecurity, and the digital economy. This framework not only boosts economic growth, but also enhances the region's competitiveness on the global stage. Furthermore, startups and entrepreneurs are flourishing across ASEAN, with cities like Singapore, Jakarta, and Bangkok emerging as vibrant tech ecosystems. These innovation-driven enterprises are poised to disrupt traditional industries, driving economic diversification and job creation. Yet another advantage ASEAN has is its strategic position in global trade. ASEAN holds a pivotal position in the global trade arena, ranking as the world's fourth largest exporting region, following only the European Union, North America, and China. Since member states within ASEAN have perfected their manufacturing capabilities, their export portfolios have diversified significantly. For example, Vietnam specializes in textiles and apparel, while Singapore and Malaysia have established themselves as leading exporters of electronics. Thailand has ascended to the ranks of primary vehicle and automotive parts exporters. Meanwhile, other ASEAN members have capitalized on their natural resources, with Indonesia, for instance, standing as the world's largest producer and exporter of palm oil, the top coal exporter, and the second largest producer of cocoa and tin. Pretty smart, huh? In addition to exporting manufactured and agricultural products, the Philippines has nurtured a thriving business process outsourcing industry, with China emerging as a notable customer. Across ASEAN, export processing zones have emerged, offering fertile ground for export expansion. These zones, once predominantly associated with China, now dot the ASEAN landscape. Furthermore, ASEAN finds itself at the crossroads of various global flows. Singapore, currently ranking 4th in the McKinsey Global Institute's Connectedness Index, adeptly tracks inflows and outflows of goods, services, finance, and people, as well as the underlying data and communication flows that underpin cross-border interactions of all kinds. Malaysia, ranked 18th, and Thailand, ranked 36th, also feature prominently among the top 50 most interconnected countries. With its strategic positioning, ASEAN stands to reap the benefits of growth across these global flows. Today, we've zoomed in deeper on a new global power, and ultimately the rise of ASEAN as a global superpower is undeniable. The future is bright, and ASEAN's influence on the world stage is only set to grow.